The Looking Glass School is the most democratic of all educational institutions. There are no admissions exams, no registration fees, and courses are offered free to anyone on earth as well as heaven. It is not for nothing that this school is the child of the first system in history to rule the world. In the Looking Glass School, lead learns to float and cork to sink. Snakes learn to fly, and clouds drag themselves along the ground. The upside-down world rewards in reverse. It scorns honesty, punishes work, prizes lack of scruples, and feeds cannibalism. Its professors slander nature. Injustice, they say, is a law of nature.
The worst violators of nature and human rights never go to jail. They hold the keys. In the world as it is, the upside-down world, those who guard the peace also make and sell the most weapons. The most successful industries are the most poisonous for the planet. And saving the environment is the brilliant endeavour of the companies that profit from annihilating it. Those who kill the most people in the shortest time win immunity and praise, as do those who destroy nature at the lowest cost.
Walking is risky, and breathing a challenge in the great cities of the Looking Glass world. Whoever is not a prisoner of necessity is a prisoner of fear, deprived of sleep by anxiety over the things he lacks, or by terror of losing the things he has.
The Looking Glass world trains us to view our neighbour as a threat, not a promise. It condemns us to solitude and consoles us with chemical drugs and cybernetic friends. We are sentenced to die of fear, hunger, or boredom. That is, if a stray bullet doesn't do the job first. Who are the jailers, and who are the jailed? In one way or another, we're all imprisoned. Those in jail and those on the outside. How can the prisoners of need be free, since they live to work and don't have the luxury of working to live? And the prisoners of desperation, who have no work and never will, and who survive only by robbery or by miracle? How about the prisoners of fear? Are we free? Aren't we all prisoners? Those on top, on the bottom, and in the middle too? Society's obliged to live by everyone for himself. We're all prisoners. The guarded and the guards, the chosen and the pariahs.
The development of technology leads not to more free time or freedom, only to more unemployment and fear. Panic at the spectre of the pink slip is universal. We are sorry to inform you that due to the new budget policy we must make do without your services. Or simply that's the way it is, without any euphemism to ease the blow. Anyone can get shot down anytime, anywhere. At 40, anyone can become old from one day to the next. Forgetting, the powerful say, is the price of peace, and they impose a peace based on accepting injustice as an everyday norm. They've gotten us used to a peace in which life is scorned and remembering prohibited. The media and the schools don't do much to help us integrate reality and memory. Every fact appears divorced from the rest, divorced from its own past and the past of every other fact. Consumer culture, a culture of disconnectedness, trains us to believe things just happen. Incapable of recalling its origins, the present paints the future as a repetition of itself. Tomorrow is just another name for today.
Does history repeat itself? Or are its repetitions only penance for those who are incapable of listening to it? No history is mute. No matter how much they burn it, break it, and lie about it, human history refuses to shut its mouth. Despite deafness and ignorance, the time that was continues to tick inside the time that is. The right to remember does not figure among the human rights consecrated by the United Nations, but now more than ever we must insist on it and act on it. Not to repeat the past, but to keep it from being repeated. Not to make us ventriloquists for the dead, but to allow us to speak with voices that are not condemned to echo perpetually with stupidity and misfortune. When it's truly alive, memory does not contemplate history, it invites us to make it. More than in museums, where its poor soul gets bored. Memory is in the air we breathe. From the air, it breathes us. Consumer society is a booby trap. Those at the controls feign ignorance, but anybody with eyes in his head can see that the great majority of people necessarily must consume not much, very little, or nothing at all in order to save the bit of nature we have left. Social injustice is not an error to be corrected, nor is it a defect to be overcome. It is an essential requirement of the system. No natural world is capable of supporting a mall the size of the planet. Plastic delights, plastic dreams. In the paradise promised to all and reserved for a few, things are more and more important, and people less and less so. The ends have been kidnapped by the means. Things buy you. Cars drive you. Computers program you. Television watches you. The best of the world lies in the many worlds the world contains. The different melodies of life, their pains and strains, the 1,001 ways of living and speaking, thinking and creating, eating, working, dancing, playing, loving, suffering and celebrating that we have discovered over so many thousands of years.
Every child has many parents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, grandparents. The grandparents are the dead and the hills, children of the earth and of the sun, watered by she rains and he rains. We are all related to the seeds, to the corn plants, to the rivers, and to the foxes that announce how the year will unfold. The stones are related to the snakes and to the lizards. Corn and beans, brothers to each other, grow up together without squabbling. Potatoes are the daughters and members of those who plant them, because he who creates is created. Everything is sacred, and we are too. Sometimes we are gods, and the gods sometimes are just little people.